Hi, welcome to Cocktail of the Week. Today we're going to make Lady Garden, which is a twist on Garden of Eden or
Gin Garden.
Gin Garden. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is get your hands on some cucumber, and mine's already been pre-prepared. It's been skinned, and then chop it up finely, and then muddle it, which we're doing a bit of ad hoc here. So we're just crushing it. Pretend that's crushed. There we go. Okay, so for the key ingredient, gin. We like Gordon's here. Bombay Sapphire.
Plug.
Other gins are available. So 1 part of this. And actually just look away. Okay. Then the next part is apple juice. We just bought the classic apple juice from local supermarket. And then we've got some elderflower. So this is actually pressé. So it's probably weaker than the neat stuff. I just need to taste this just to see.
Do you? Of course you do.
Perfect.
Hello and welcome to Queer Roundup episode 2!
Yay!
To everyone that watched Queer Roundup episode 1, thank you very much for coming back, and everyone new, hello and welcome. I'm Samuel Jefferson. I was a doctor for a bit and I've become a writer, and I'm creator of this beautiful show.
I'm Rohit. I'm a lawyer stroke man about town.
I'm Eleanor, I'm the token straight.
And I'm Tim. I'm a doctor.
Nothing else to you.
No, it's just me.
Nice but dim.
Yeah. My parents actually used to call me that. So.
Well, maybe I'll do better than that. Good. So for this episode, for the first conversation, I thought we should talk about diversity in industries and if you become a worker.
Not the dance band then.
Not diversity. I mean, they're quite diverse, aren't they? Really? We were talking earlier about Hollywood, and there's lots of controversy about the Oscars this year.
Are you guys boycotting the Oscars?
What?
We weren't invited.
Otherwise, I'd be like, yeah, it's good controversy. So we were talking about the fact that there was a big hoo-ha about no black actors or actors of colour being nominated, and we were discussing that, and also gay actors and why no gay actors have ever won. So Tim, do you want to start? What are your thoughts about it?
Well, I think because I know the argument in Hollywood is mainly that there's just no black actors in the nominations, which I obviously completely agree with, and it's ridiculous. But there's just no diversity whatsoever. I mean, I'm not even surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they nominated men in the women's because it's just all white.
Because there aren't many.
Yeah, white. Well, I say middle class, but you know, your typical what you'd expect that these people have been voted by the same kind of people, and it's
a little clique, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we were saying earlier, that Ian McKellen actually pointed out that no openly gay man has ever won best leading man either. So I think there's just a general lack of diversity, and it's just obviously very obvious from the offset, just looking at the lineup there, that there's no obviously there's no ethnic minorities and there's no black actors at all.
Yeah.
But I think the bigger picture is that there's not that much diversity in Hollywood.
Ellie,
despite that.
Do you think there should be positive discrimination in that? There should be even if there was one film that had black actors in it.
No, I don't believe in handing out sort of charity cases, or I think you've got to earn it, because otherwise that just undermines everything that someone's worked for. But I do think there needs to be more openly gay actors in Hollywood. I think we're just in an age where it's not a big deal. I think actors that have been straight for many years would be a little bit shocking to come out now, but definitely new actors coming up shouldn't have the fear.
Do you think they're all hiding it? Do you think there's 50 well-known gay or queer or whatever actors that we know
than
they
there
just
are?
haven't?
There's several. Well, I mean, supposedly well-known people who shall not be named. I'm not going to go around.
Well, if we can tweet them, they retweet. That would be great.
We don't have
Just
the money
clarify for us.
We don't have to defend the lawsuits.
to be making this kind of.
Surely our lawyer fees will be free, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Pro bono.
Why don't you think they've come out?
Well, I'm sure, especially the ones who are kind of established, I guess, there was a perception that if you were gay, you wouldn't be able to play a leading man, you know, again, opposite a woman, which is silly because you have, straight actors playing gay leads, like in Brokeback Mountain, so why wouldn't it be possible?
Like Tom Hanks has played gay.
But I would say,
Philadelphia.
if you know an actor is gay, does that alter your perception of him? Maybe as gay men that wouldn't, but I mean, do I think differently if Brad Pitt came out as being gay? Like, would that maybe alter the way I felt about him? I mean,
do you mean because they're often seen as sex symbols?
Yes.
If there is if someone was like Brad Pitt or whatever, a sex symbol to women, and that's how a lot of money's made, because obviously that draws in people to the film or whatever. If they were suddenly gay, then maybe they wouldn't be such a sex symbol.
I think yes.
Just because of the way people would perceive it.
But I think maybe if they were really camp off screen, that would maybe take away some of their sort of charm for women. But I think in this day and age, women can still. Is it John Barrowman?
John Barrowman.
He's still lusted after by
Is he?
millions of women.
Middle-aged women.
But it was like Tom Daley when he was a massive sex symbol for gay men anyway,
Not
but
what?
also
That's
girls.
because it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, loads of girls bought his calendar
Before
and then he came out. And obviously, I'm keeping the Tom Daley calendar business going.
Yeah.
But,
One in each
so
room.
they must, like, they can't be all the girls have just been like, oh no, he's gay, won't find him hot anymore.
Yeah, I think I kind of got the vibe that he was gay long before he announced
everyone had that vibe.
that he was gay, which maybe
Tom.
leads us on to the camp topic, which we'll discuss a bit later.
Yeah.
But
Luke Evans is still a sex symbol. He's one of the.
Who's Luke Evans?
He's an actor. He was in... Oh, God, what was he in? He was in that Dracula film recently, when he played Dracula. He was in the Three Musketeers film.
Yeah.
But is he one of those people who's kind of just... It's known that he's gay, but he's not actually out?
But this is exactly...
Really?
This is exactly what... it shouldn't be this big song and dance, oh my god, this is, I'm gay. It's just a thing that isn't really a big deal, and actually all work should be based on your acting ability.
Yeah.
And
but that's like the whole thing with like coming out. Is like, should you really feel the need that you have to come out, or because you're then making a point about it? Whereas should you have to make a point about it? Nowadays it should be that if you're gay, you're gay. It doesn't matter. It's not something that defines you as a person. It's just it's like I've got brown hair.
So if, say, we agree with that, and I think there's a responsibility you have if you're a famous actor and you're in the media. It's like sportmen.
Yeah.
If you're a footballer and there are no gay footballers,
Yeah.
if you came out, you would support loads of people who are gay and maybe haven't come out who like sport.
But I suppose there's a difference then between actively coming out and doing a video like Tom Daley did, or just not and not hiding it. So I don't think people necessarily need to go out of their way to make a big song and dance about it, but there's no, but obviously then not hide their lovers or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's more...
Because it normalises it more as well.
But I think it's more, don't actively pretend that you're something you're not.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like not hiding it. Yeah.
Well, no, because I think there's not discussing it, and then lying about it. And,
having pretend girlfriends.
But straight couples have pretend girlfriends. It's a whole media circus, isn't it?
In what way?
If a celebrity goes out with another celebrity, then they combine their worth and become very...
Oh, they pretend to go out with each other?
Yeah.
Who's done that?
Right.
And they all pretend.
Again, we don't want a lawsuit, Sam,
Yeah.
so let's not name names.
Maybe a famous
all
One
speculation.
Direction band member and a supermodel.
Oh. Well, they were just like, yeah, we're going out, because then they're like, PR kudos goes on.
And they're
yeah.
papped more and talked about more in the press.
I'd have to date like Barack Obama to bring my level up.
But it kind of makes sense, and the amount of ridiculous things that they do in Hollywood, I would not be... That's probably quite low down on the scale of ridiculousness.
Yeah. Okay, well, what if not Hollywood or sports, but Ro, you work at like law firm, you've worked in like investment banking kind of
Yeah.
world.
Mhm.
Is that quite accepted?
Yeah, it's.
Like
I mean,
partners,
it's positively encouraged actually. No, it's. I mean, I remember thinking going into a career in finance, whether or not it would be encouraged or even permitted, and it is weird because it can be perceived as quite a macho culture. You sit around, and I remember in the early days, kind of as I was still coming out, there'd be all this banter around girls. Or when there was a new intern in the office, like some of the partners would be like, "Oh, I'm sure you're going out," and I was just like,
That's.
kind of eventually just had to drop like just a subtle conversation about cock to like.
I'm just about to find out you just such a leak drop of conversation about cock.
But I
Are you
remember.
coming for lunch? Yeah, is it cock? That's what I mean.
Just to make people aware that because you don't realize how heteronormative everyone is, and people just assume that you've got your eye on like the hot secretary in the office or whatever, and I was just like, no, actually it's that.
Did you start working in the 50s? Is that an episode of Mad Men?
Which would be really cool.
But it was just kind of like, and I always went the route of like getting the girls on the team on side first by essentially like mentioning that so and so is really hot, and then kind of eventually come out with like the directors and the partners and stuff, but everyone's super cool about it, and especially in banking. I mean, we all have these they're kind of gay
Quotas?
no quotas, but kind of groups like. Not activities.
Like a society, like a
like
university
gay
society,
sock.
kind of gay sock.
They sound like gangs. Like trying to get a coffee.
Well, no, but like the gay societies are so well funded. They throw the best parties. There's so much champagne.
Yeah, I've seen some people who've been on things like this, and the photos are just insane.
Yeah.
So what about you, Tim? Like, I know most of our like working life has been spent in hospitals and medicine.
Yeah.
But I think medicine's still quite like old man kind of. Do you know what I
Little
mean?
bit
Like
old
it's
school.
the perception of it. Do you?
Disagree.
Do you have to tell people you're a woman at work?
Sometimes,
Or do they just-
if I haven't shaved my beard, then I
Sure.
have to kind of,
I mean, we're in HD, so probably you can pick that up.
Well, most of the medical work, well, not most, 60% of the medical working force is female. But we as medical students are always taught never to assume, to be open. One of our oaths is treat everyone equally. So we as doctors are not supposed to or should have opinions on other people. And I think that breeds maybe liberalism between.
Yeah.
That's like our generalisation horn, by the way, that we're going to play occasionally. Tim, but have you found that in your working life? Like, have you gone and been like, oh yeah, like it's super easy to tell everyone I'm gay, it's never bothered you?
No, well, in my first year I did, but that's because it was the first year, and I knew there was much more of a social aspect to work, so we would go out on nights out, and that way because you become friends with people rather than work colleagues, it kind of filters down that way. Whereas now, it's not necessarily, I don't think, because it'd be difficult. I change job every 4 months. So having to do the same bloody thing every 4 months and being like, oh, we have to wait, because you kind of want to suss out whether someone's going to be okay. And I've just got to the point where it's like, I can't be asked. And if I make friends with someone and I'm friends with them long enough, obviously then I'll tell them. But just with the people I work with from day to day, like, I wouldn't go around telling my consultants because...
Yeah. So I find it difficult, like even when I started, say locumed, so went through different hospitals, I worked there a couple of days and go to a new hospital. Every time I would get to know everyone there, whether they were girls or boys or my boss or whatever, or colleague, and because I never thought, oh, it's a huge part of my life being gay, so I don't think that, so I don't need to bring it up immediately. But then you get down a road and you suddenly realise you've been there for like 3 days. Everyone's assumed that you're straight.
Yeah.
You've not quite talked about it, and because you're getting closer and closer to them, you're like, you don't know this thing about me, and now it's weird because then people won't ask you directly, like, oh, you have a girlfriend, but they'll kind of make comments or little suggestions that imply that you've got a girlfriend or you fancy that new nurse, and it's just really difficult then to be like, oh no, I'm actually gay, because then it becomes a massive thing and everyone's like, oh we didn't know,
so sorry. It's like, don't be sorry, like,
yeah,
I just didn't feel the need to tell you because it shouldn't be an issue, which it isn't.
Yeah,
but then they kind of like overcompensate because they think that they've done something, they might have said something offensive, and it's like, if I was that bothered, I would have told you there and then
Yeah.
that was offensive all over.
And that's
So-
how it should be, I suppose, in every industry, whether you're in Hollywood or you're a sportsman or whatever. You should be. It shouldn't matter, should it? You
No.
shouldn't need to come out in the kind of Tom Daly way of big
Yeah.
hoo-ha newspapers and stuff. It should be like, oh, I'm a footballer. Oh, he happens to be gay.
Yeah.
Cool. Is he a good footballer?
Well, I do see why sports is slightly different, but I can kind of see how in certain professions where part of your job is to be a sex symbol.
Like a prostitute.
No, like
When you're in Hollywood.
like
Right.
yeah, like that you might think that you're narrowing your audience a bit by which is not fair.
But
I mean, and I
sports-
fancy straight actors.
Yeah.
But sportsmen are sex symbols as well.
Yeah.
Because they get a lot of them. Obviously, they get paid shitloads anyway. But if they become a sex symbol as well, like David Beckham, they can also be far more lucrative off the field than on the field.
Yeah. And I suppose if you're say you were David Beckham and you were gay, and all your fans or football fans are the kind of people that maybe aren't as die accepting,
Yeah.
find it a little bit affronting that
Yeah.
one of their favourite footballers was gay. Maybe it's just easier,
But
makes more sense to them.
he's so metrosexual, and David Beckham really brought in kicking, screaming the
Yeah.
man who wears nail polish, man who gets a facial, man who
Sarong.
wears a
Sarong.
sarong.
Oh,
It
wow,
is so
I forgot
wrong,
about that.
but
Yeah.
so wrong.
But and if anything, you just need one or two, and then you're breaking down those barriers.
Yeah.
You say that. So there was actually an article. I can't remember what it was on the BBC this week. There are two footballers, high-profile footballers in the Premiership who are actually going to come out before the start of the season.
Yeah.
So maybe
Is
things are actually
going to
changing.
happen,
Yeah,
or-
it's going to happen. It's been agreed with their PR companies or whatever,
why-
which seems a bit kind of orchestrated. But maybe, like you were saying, you just need a couple of people to kind of start the trend.
Yeah.
Because I mean, looking rugby's much better because I mean they had Gareth Williams or whatever his name,
Yeah.
and then a few others have all come out afterwards, and now kind of more are, and it's more accepting.
Yeah.
Well, there's quite a high profile, greasy, slick back Portuguese
Oh, yeah.
player who
We might have been to his nightclub in Villamora.
The very attached one that I've definitely followed on Instagram.
there was photos of him sort of caressing or holding another close friend. There's
Really?
been so much speculation about it, and it's just I'm so bored of it. It's just live your life. If you are gay, please just come out and just be, be happy.
So let's play the opposite side of that. We're saying that it's, and I have to say I agree that I want people to come out to support the community. So if you were a famous gay actor, I want you to come out because it helps. What about people's right to say it's absolutely none of your business?
Yeah.
Why should I have to? Do you think you give that up if you're a celebrity?
You've got absolute right to live a personal and private life, but do not have a Russian girlfriend.
Where does a Russian come from?
Why
A
are you
Russian
just
model
segregating
girlfriend.
Russian fever.
Oh, you mean don't pretend, don't lie about it? Okay,
Yeah,
I think that
and
makes sense.
it sounds like she's talking about someone specific with a model.
I don't know
Russian
what you're talking about.
All right.
Well, I suppose that comes back to the point of you can have your own private life and not make a big song and dance about it, but like you're saying, don't lie about it.
Yeah.
But you don't need to actively have like a press conference to announce the world.
Hi!
Hi! Yeah.
Yeah, and there is always the possibility that some of these people may actually be bisexual,
Yeah.
which everyone seems to be slightly afraid of.
That's a whole other conversation topic in itself.
Shall we take a breath? Yeah, I think, I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? I think if in certain things like you're a sportsman or you're in a company or blah, 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 I think it'd be good to come out to support others who are maybe beneath you, quote unquote. I mean, it's good. But I do think if you're a celebrity and you know that's the world you're getting into, you kind of give up some of your rights to privacy.
absolutely.
Sorry, that just comes with the like £80 million pay packet.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Whereas I think maybe in medicine, your sexuality is completely irrelevant with
Yeah.
your relationship with the patient. I mean, I can't imagine you'd ever,
We might need to talk about your bedside manner.
but as a doctor treating a patient, my preferences are completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
And I imagine you've never told or said to a patient, "Oh, I'm gay."
Yeah.
But I think maybe we've discussed within the workforce itself and within colleagues.
Yeah.
But as a doctor doing a job, whatever you're into,
Can make it difficult though. I had a really pleasant looking old lady who was in the waiting room.
Where's this
As a
going?
patient. And then she was in the waiting room and I was like, hi my love, do you want to come through? Shall I carry your bag for you? And she's like, oh yeah, thanks. And I picked up and she was like, but you look a bit like a puff. And I was like, nothing I can say. So I was just like, And it's a bit like getting a racist taxi driver that you're in there for 20 minutes. Like, it's like, So, yeah.
It's always the sweet little ones that are racist, homophobic.
Alright, cool. Well, let's wrap this up. If you've got any thoughts at home about if you think celebrities are gay or in Hollywood or sportsmen, you think it's a good thing they come out, or does it not matter? Are
Or
they
if
allowed to have their
you're
rights?
boycotting the Oscars, then...
Or if that well-known Greaseback Portuguese footballer wants to get in touch, that's fine.
Could be any of you.
Right, you ready for this? Get in your position.
Y'all ready for this?
Sorry, that was very